The Central Asian Report is a program about the ongoing geopolitical trends and the panorama of the present-day realities in Central Asia.
Politics, economics and culture, events, trends and people, all this on one territory. Hello, you're watching the Central Asian Report in today's program. International exhibition, transport and logistics, path towards Central Asia. Tajik cinema, the tough reality of the factory of dreams. Following the scent of apples, Almaty aport apples catch the attention of the U.S. State Department. And coming right up, headlines from Central Asia. Turkmenistan is to begin the construction of a gas pipeline to India in December of this year. Its distance is 1,735 kilometers. It will pass through the territories of Afghanistan and Pakistan. The project was titled Tapi and the agreement on its realization was signed back in 2010. But due to the unstable political situation in the transit countries, wide-scale construction works were pushed back numerous times. This time, Turkmenistan's gas company is set on completing it. The capacity of the gas pipeline will be 33 billion cubic meters of fuel per year. Projected service life, 30 years. Estimated cost of the project, around $10 billion US. Kyrgyzstan is planning to introduce a unified system of international migration records. It is expected that this will simplify and speed up the process of obtaining visas to Kyrgyzstan for foreign nationals and consequently will have a positive impact on the tourism image of the country. In addition, the system will strengthen the fight against terrorism, transnational crime and illegal migration. At the foundation of the unified system is the wide implementation of the practice of switching to electronic visas. By cars, trains, planes and even sea ships. Potential partners from the East and West are ready to use all means of transport for accessing the Central Asian region. In the recent years, cargo traffic to the countries of Central Asia has increased manifold, including using such a costly means as air transport. We bring you the report on the state of the market of logistics services and its main trends in our next story on the international exhibition, Transit Kazakhstan. The developer's requirements demand the use of seatbelts during the trial run. While sitting in the seat, one can feel what it's like to be behind the wheel of a light vehicle, large tonnage cistern, and even infantry combat vehicle. The developer of this transport simulator is a company from France, but it connects serious prospects for its business with the Central Asian region. Considering the latest projects on the construction of the Western Europe-Western China highway on the territory of Kazakhstan, the quality of roads will be fitting. Of course, we can say with confidence that this innovative development will be used by our transport companies. It is not incidental that the French company is attempting to enter the Central Asian region with an innovation that cannot actually be driven. To be part of the Central Asian market of logistics services is a real trend in the sphere of international cargo transport. This was clearly seen at the Transit and Logistics exhibition. Jānis Užbalis represents a Latvian company that transports cargo by automobile transport. Initially, they operated mainly on the Russian market, but the economic recession in the country had a negative impact on stable cooperation. The volume of cargo transport fell drastically, and we had to decide either we go back to Europe or we move further on. We've chosen the latter, thus trying further in Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan and Kyrgyzstan. Next week our cars will make the first trip to Turkmenistan. Mr. Užbalis admits that the decision was not an easy one. Even though Central Asia is an economically promising region, it is not the most convenient for cargo transport. It seemed that in some parts the roads are of good quality and some could use improvements. But over the last 2 years it is noticeable that roads are being built. In the near future, the transport corridors towards Central Asia and back will be more smooth and straight in all the possible ways. Provisions are made for the development of the Eurasian Transcontinental Corridor through the territory of Kazakhstan. In connection with this, as you understand, in Kazakhstan measures are being taken on a legislative as well as infrastructural levels. The transit highway that runs through Russia and Kazakhstan, one way or another, will provide access to all the countries of Central Asia. And this may become a true breakthrough in the integration of global economies. Latvia is ready to provide service along with all the multimodal transit possibilities from Kazakhstan to countries of Western Europe, and it is also possible to consider options beyond this, towards North America, the North American continent. The majority of companies are in a rush to establish cooperation, even despite the fact that the road and railway routes are still at the construction stage, because work on building the transport infrastructure can be done jointly.
W Polsce jest очень много компаний, которые строят железные.
Poland has a lot of companies that build railway roads. There are companies that are building highways and roads. Within the European Union, they've already built more than 1,000 kilometers of highways in the recent years. This is something in which we can offer assistance.
1000 километров автострад за последние годы. В этом мы тоже можем помочь.
By the way, entrepreneurs from the East are also interested in prospective opportunities. Their number at the exhibition almost exceeded the number of companies from Europe. This one, for example, is based in Lianyungang, a port on the shores of the Pacific Ocean, a strategic and most eastern point of the future Silk Road.
Мы открылись 2 года назад в Ляньюнгане, и смотря на вот этот короткий срок, мы сейчас перевезем.
We started our operations 2 years ago in Lianyungang, and despite such a short period of time, at the moment annually we transport about 5,000 containers across Central Asia.
Уже в Узбекистане открыли наше представительство, и хотели бы в Казахстане тоже открыть, чтобы лучше знать казахстанский рынок.
To summarize, for now the roads are choosing us as their destination, and time will show which ones we will choose. Movies created by cinematographers from Central Asia are causing more interest among foreign film critics. Some of them have received international acclaim, for example Earrings of the Kyrgyz director Nargiza Mamatkulova and the Kazakhstani film The Owners, directed by Adilkhan Yerzhanov. And the more films from Central Asia are presented on the international screens, the more the world will find out about Central Asia. Our correspondent from Dushanbe brings us the story of the revival of Tajikistan cinematography. The working schedule of the national artist Gulsara Abdullayeva today is filled with rehearsals in the theater and in the movies, just like many years ago, when she had to simultaneously work on a number of parts. There were days when I was working on 5 different films, and plus at the theater. Director's assistants would wait for me behind the curtains. Those who were first would grab me and take me to the film shooting site. Gulsara Abdullayeva began her career right during the dawn of the Tajik film studio, when up to 7 full feature films were shot every year. Then, after the fall of the Soviet Union, the command cut was given for many years to come. In order to survive, the national artist had to get into the trade of business. There was no time for films nor art, only to survive. I was called national artist / businesswoman. Bakhtiar Kaharov also left the film industry, animation films. A student of Norstein in Hitruk, after leaving the film studio, he did not desist from the work that he loves. He worked at home and now also came back to the film industry.
Молодые ребята пришли извне, которые занимались как бы больше.
Young people came in who previously worked on their own and expressed a desire to create animation films at a professional level. This turned into an alliance of a professional animator and these young people who are familiar with 3D technologies.
Аниматора и этих ребят, которые больше владеют анимацией, 3D-анимацией, технологиями, вернее, больше.
Right now, Bakhtiar Kaharov's team is preparing for the premiere. At the film studio, they're working on an animation series, Neighbors, in a 3D format. This is the sound recording studio. Here the oceans rumble, bullets whiz by, and the winds howl. Imitation of sounds is done with the use of the simplest things: rocks, sand, and water. Right now, sound effects are being added to a new film. The new film is a comedy. Its plot: in a faraway mountain village, Safar is tending the sheep and constantly complaining about life. At the same time, his doppelganger Jean lives in France. After breaking up with his girlfriend and burying his grandmother, he decides to set off on a round-the-world trip. Their life paths cross and adventures begin.
var?
The script was written back 5 years ago, but there were no funds to begin shooting. Another problem, they had to get that hot air balloon, which was not available anywhere in the country. There are no hot air balloons in Tajikistan. We thought that adding it digitally would look unrealistic. Considered various options and decided on Kyrgyzstan. Our colleagues there offered us good conditions and a low price.
Кыргызская сторона предоставила нам самые наиболее удобные условия, выгодные условия и относительно недорогие цены.
There are plans to screen this movie not only in Tajikistan, but in Kyrgyzstan as well. Here they believe that a day will come that Tajik films will be not only on par with Bollywood, but also Hollywood. All the numerous places where the Almaty aport apples have received their due recognition. The famous apples, the size of a baby's head, have become a favorite of specialized exhibitions and international fairs. And now even the U.S. State Department noted them. Our next story is on the renowned reputation of Kazakhstan's select apples back home and beyond. Washington, Artisan Enterprise New Startup Economy Forum. The address of the U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry was expected to be official, but he barely had time to get on the stage and it was clear. Things are not going to go according to protocol.
This is my apple I just got. This is a souvenir of Kazakhstan, of Almaty to be precise, and it's woven actually with the local wool. And these are giant apples, which apparently Almaty produces. And coming from New England, where our fall harvesting of apples is critical, I'm going to show them this and say, get your act together, guys. You know? It's beautiful.
This quote has already been widely publicized by various sources of mass media and social networks. Well-deserved national pride in thousands of publications. And even a comment retweeted on a diplomatic level. In other words, a response on social networks from Kazakhstan's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yerlan Idrisov. Thank you, U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry, for the kind words regarding the apples. As you may have heard, apples are indeed from Kazakhstan. I look forward to treating you with the real deal here in Kazakhstan soon. It is not a mere accident that Kazakhstan's minister was tempting his foreign colleague with these apples. Acknowledgement of the aport apples by the U.S. State Department coincided with the traditional Almaty Festival of Apples that bears a name quite understandable for the American diplomat, Apple Fest. Important not to mix up the name with the brand. Incredible number of varieties of apples presented. I've tasted everything here, very delicious, and of course I especially liked aport because these are our traditional Almaty apples. Aside from aport, around 20 varieties of apples were presented at the festival. Among them are some that are already popular among consumers, as well as new selections. Granny Smith. This is a new variety, that is why it is interesting for people to try. It has somewhat of a more sour taste. Right now everyone wants to consume less sugar. That is why this variety is becoming more popular. Well, the guests of the festival were not only treated to apples. It was very interesting. There was a flash mob, there were a lot of interesting master classes, everything organized to ensure a great family day. Interesting not only for adults, but also children. Various handmade works were also presented at the festival, which anyone could purchase. Articles made out of felt, original accessories, tasty treats, and toys. Even handmade artisans from Kyrgyzstan came to showcase and sell their products. This is made out of silk-based felt. This was done by the masters from Kyrgyzstan, and it is the first that we're presenting these products at this fair. There are a lot of people here who liked it and are buying it with great pleasure. If there is a demand, all the more reasons to come here. It is difficult to say how many guests visited the festival. According to organizers, all 100 tons of apples prepared for the Apple Fest were sold. You were watching the Central Asian Report. Until next time on Kazakh TV.